Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick video explaining what Uarts are, U-A-R-T. Now if you're in the hobby you'll have come across loads of 3 and 4 letter acronyms, and Uarts are something that you're going to bump into when you're playing a lot more with flight controllers. So let's get into the weeds about what Uarts are, why we need them, how they work, and also what the difference is between something like that and SoftSerial, which is something else you'll hear about when you're talking about connecting things to a flight controller. So Uart stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter, UART. And the fantastic thing about that is the first letter, which is universal. They can be configured to talk to pretty much anything. So they could be plugged into things like a GPS, they could be an airspeed sensor, it might be a CRSF receiver, it might be connected to telemetry radios, it might be to a LiDAR. There's lots and lots of different options. And the cool thing is that the Uart can be configured in software to pretty much do anything you want it to. And that's why they're so incredibly powerful and useful in things like iNav, Betaflight, Arduino Pilot as well. Now, Uarts in particular, the easiest way to think of them, I guess, is they're like USB connections on your computer. They're kind of used for everything these days. With the exception of things like there are other bus standards that you'll come across. There's I2C, which is a different standard that's typically used for things like external compasses. You'll also come across one called CAN bus. CAN bus is a digital bus system that's used in automotive industry and is now starting to come into the hobby. A lot of stuff for the Arduino Pilot technology these days, in fact, the current build I'm doing at the moment uses CAN bus GPS and a CAN bus airspeed sensor, and it dramatically reduces the number of wires. And that's because with the Uart you need 4 pads. Typically, you need a 5 volts and a ground to power the device that's plugged into it, and then you have a transmit and receive pin. That transmit and receive pin then connect to the other end, so the transmit pin on one Uart connects to the receive pin on the other Uart, and that's the way it's all connected up. Common mistake that pilots get into when they're building is to get the transmit and receive pins the wrong way round, and that's something that I've done here when I'm not paying attention. Smaller flight controllers typically have less of these. It's just a physical size thing because you typically need those 4 pads. Now, the Uart Job, that little piece of hardware on the flight controller, is there to take the data that's sent to it from the flight controller that usually comes in a parallel format, and then to kind of store that information and then send it bit by bit across that transmit line, and then the other end is going to receive that information bit by bit, and then reconstitute the information and then send it and use it at the other end as well. Now, there are these things called packets. I'm not going to get into the technical detail, but there's usually a start bit, some data, there's usually then some error checking and a couple of stop bits. But what's happening is that the chunk of data that comes into the Uart is then squirted down the transmit pin, and that then takes a period of time. At the other end, those are reconstituted and then used at the other end. And that's what a Uart is doing. So you can think of it like the USB cable equivalent on a flight controller. It isn't a USB standard, but it does mean that you can plug anything into anything. So these days on our computers, if you're plugging in a camera or a microphone or a mouse or a keyboard or a storage device or whatever, it always seems to connect with USB cable. It's become the standard, and that's kind of what a Uart is in the hobby. There are a couple of others. There's one called I2C. You'll usually see it written as an I2C. An I2C or I2C, to give it its proper name, is a connection that's typically used for things like external compasses, and they have something called a serial clock and a serial data line. They tend to be more exotic these days. They're typically only used for compasses. The other one that you might bump into now and again are CAN bus connected devices. CAN bus is something that's coming in more and more. Some of the higher end H7 based Matec flight controllers have a CAN bus connection on them. Things like the Pixhawk technology do. And CAN bus is a connection that's been around for a very long time. It's been used in the automotive industry for ages and ages, and it really reduces the amount of wiring. It's a bus system, so you can actually, rather than just have one thing connected to one Uart, which is how it works, you can have multiple things connected on the same CAN bus. So now we've talked about Uarts quite a bit. The other thing that you might bump into is something called SoftSerial. Now, as we've just talked about, UARTs are bits of hardware whose job it is to take the parallel information that's coming in from essentially the computer that's the flight controller and then to put that down a transmit wire bit by bit. But if you have spare pins and you have spare capacity in the processing power on the CPU on the flight controller, then you can emulate what that piece of hardware is doing, that UART is doing, by doing it in software essentially. So the software inside the flight controller will then do that job and then send those bits of information to a spare pad. That's called SoftSerial, and that can give you additional UARTs to control other devices. So why do we have the two versions? When would you use one over the other? Well, there is a couple of issues with SoftSerial. The issue with SoftSerial is whereas a UART is a dedicated piece of hardware whose job it is to just send and receive and reconstitute data across a transmit and receive pair, the flight controller is doing a lot of other things. It's actually flying your model and doing the on-screen display and moving all the controls and listening to the radio and applying all the PID loop stuff. So it's actually quite busy. So you might find that there is a little bit more latency in a SoftSerial port, and you might not be able to run it as quickly because it's not a dedicated piece of hardware. But I've used SoftSerial when I've got those smaller boards where I haven't got enough UARTs. Turning on SoftSerial will typically give you a couple of extra places to plug data devices into, but I would always go for ones that aren't flight critical on SoftSerial. Things like telemetry, for example, tend to be okay on SoftSerial ports. I wouldn't try and use SoftSerial for my radio, for example. So hopefully that explains a little bit about what it is. That's what a UART is. It's a little piece of hardware on the flight controller whose job it is to talk to other devices that are connected. The way it works is that one UART can only be used for one thing, but it is universal, so it can talk to loads of different things. It isn't the only connection standard that we have in the hobby, but it is the most widely used on the cheaper flight controllers. So now you know what it is. When you next see it in a video, you'll know what it's all about. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that if you're trying to learn a topic will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.